So, what happened to Tomi Lahren? Her story is interesting. One, because her and I are the same age, but two, her career path is the perfect trajectory for someone who follows the well-worn path of a broadcast journalism degree. So, let's rewind the clock a little bit. How did Tomi Lahren become so successful, and where did she wind up now today? What is her little career arc narrative? So in doing a little reading up on Tomi Lahren, she studied broadcast journalism at the University of Nevada. And while she was at the University of Nevada, she hosted a kind of student-led news TV show called The Scramble, where she was quite good, and she kind of honed her skills at debating and speaking in front of camera and in public. And she did it with her fellow students, probably at the School of Journalism at the University of Nevada. And you can watch in those early The Scramble episodes, that's what they're called for the kind of student television show at the University of Nevada. She is a quite good debater, but she doesn't have a, per se, political ideology or stance all the time. In that she's willing to take a liberal or a conservative viewpoint, depending on the issue, in her University of Nevada days, and debate it. Now, what is remained the same since her days in the University of Nevada is that she always has a clear and strident point of view. It's never kind of milquetoast. Nonetheless, after she graduated from the University of Nevada, she had a little assistantship, stewardship for a Republican candidate, the state level, for about 6 months, and then she landed a little gig at the OAN network down in San Diego. And the OAN network is kind of a small media company that's religious right, and that was her first real career gig outside of the University of Nevada broadcast journalism. And there she kind of towed the line, the OAN network line, which is that kind of conservative right, religious right narrative. And so she was an on-camera quote talent, and that's where she kind of first developed those daily monologues, soliloquies, if you want to call them that. I don't know if we should call them that, honestly. Let's call them monologues. Monologues to the camera, touting the kind of fact points that OAN Network has. And she found some success there, and I think that allowed her to lean more in to the kind of political ideology that OAN had, and the just political ideology of the conservative or right. And you can see her in that time pivot from just somebody who likes to debate and be on camera to somebody who has a specific point of view, that being one of a conservative, and they're going to monologue about it. And over time, they proved to be quite successful, and particularly they proved to be quite, I should say moderately successful, at least moderately successful in terms of OAN's network numbers, which were relatively small. She had a viral video on the 2015 Chattanooga shooting. And it was after that viral video that went viral on Facebook that she was smart, and something that a lot of people can learn from if they're studying broadcast journalism or want to get into media, and that you wait for the moments for opportunity to strike. Now, a lot of life is luck. I'm more than willing to admit a lot of my life is luck, and I firmly believe that most people's successes in life are luck. Nonetheless, if you're savvy, you leap on those moments of opportunity. And so while she had been making video content at the ONA network, it was a relatively small network, but a few of her videos became viral. And as soon as they became viral and they started garnering a lot of views, she pivoted and used that leverage to work at The Blaze. And The Blaze TV is, of course, founded by Glenn Beck, which is another, conservative right media outlet with a specific point of view. So once again, it was, a perfect fit for the new role, which is moving up into a larger platform. And she took her skills that she had honed at OAN Network and moved to The Blaze. And there's where she doubled down on the kind of conservative talk point monologues that everybody kind of knows her for and that made her famous. Now, what's interesting, though, about the kind of Tomi Lahren virality phenomenon is that a couple things were happening at the same time to make her success, or to amplify her success more than perhaps would have normally occurred. And those are two things. One, she came up right during the time of the presidential election, the 2016 presidential election, which allowed her to have a kind of never-ending host of topics to comment upon and to have a specific point of view on. When there's a presidential race, you can pick a candidate or pick a side and then kind of comment on the day-to-day, weekly events that are taking place during this campaign race, and it has an inherent intensity and narrative intention to it. So that one benefits anybody trying to make a monologue on something. Jon Stewart happened to be in the right place at the right time, and his approach, being able to monologue on kind of a news comedy blend during the George Bush administration, September 11th, the war in Iraq, all that followed. So that's one part of it. But the second part of it that's interesting is where she got her big numbers from. And she got her big numbers from Facebook. Facebook was really starting to take off at this point. That's when Facebook was really being consumed and watched by millions upon millions of people. That's when Facebook was counting your view after 3 seconds, when it was auto-playing on mute in people's news feeds. That's when they were promoting publisher pages like Blaze TV or Vice or Vox or ATTN or whatever you followed on Facebook. That's when they would really promote publisher pages over your kind of friends' posts, so more people were seeing it. And 2, her type of content specifically lends itself towards Facebook over other platforms, and that it's rage bait. And within media companies understand what shares and what doesn't share, and so you naturally tailor your pieces of content depending on what kind of platform you want to exist in. And I've talked about this before, how YouTube is more search driven and Facebook is more share driven, and that then dictates the type of content you make and how you tailor it. But Tomi Lahren's content, which is this kind of rage bait, clickbait, conservative political talking points that people could share as either like a voice for their thoughts that they already have, but she's more articulate about it, or she's saying something that riles them up and makes them angry, and so then they want to share it. It was just perfectly timed. She came up right when Facebook was the platform to be making content on and be making a name for yourself on top of the presidential election happening. Nonetheless, because she was way on the Blaze, she once again leaned into that kind of conservative character that she had developed over time and just leaned heavier and heavier into it. And so what happened was, over time, is that once you start to play a character and your audience knows you as that character rather than perhaps the more fully fleshed, complex person you are, when you get a little bit of fame and you start to appear on The View, and you actually talk about yourself and your own personal views, and they contradict perhaps the character you've been playing on the media network you work for, Blaze TV, suddenly it doesn't look so good. And so, as somewhat, media insiders could predict, Blaze TV was not happy when she said she came out as a pro-choice. So she, parted ways with Blaze TV, and then she went to go work for a little bit of political action committees with the Donald Trump administration, but ultimately that's not, I don't think, where she wanted to be. And my guess was, at the time, I remember when she left Blaze, was that she probably wound up at Fox News. And that's where she's at now. She's now a contributor for Fox News, once again leaning into that kind of conservative character that she's built up over time, and just taking it to a larger and larger media platform. First on the little OAN network in San Diego, then to Blaze TV, Glenn Beck's network, and now to Fox News, the kind of largest conservative, media publisher there is. And all the while continuing to use and create that Tomi Lahren conservative character that she's known for. And this is also an interesting point, that if you're coming up in broadcast journalism or kind of media, is that people play characters in the media. Everybody's playing a character, from Rachel Maddow to Tucker Carlson. I've talked about this before. And Tomi Lahren is playing a character somewhat too. People like things that make them feel one way or the other. They don't want milquetoast things. They want strong emotions. And so people rage watch or hate watch things just as often as they love watch things. And so it's always useful to consider how much you want to lean into whatever character or caricature you are building for yourself in the kind of media sphere as you come up in your career. Nonetheless, that's where Tomi Lahren's at the moment. My guess is she will eventually move from Fox News contributor to full-time Fox News host. Now, my guess is she'll eventually move from Fox News contributor to full-time Fox News host in 4 to 5 years. But lots of interesting people have actually been Fox News contributors. Steven Crowder was a Fox News contributor. Gavin McInnes was a Fox News contributor. Even Amy Schumer was a Fox News contributor. In fact, there's an old Fox News clip of Steven Crowder and Amy Schumer sharing a table on Fox News discussing the issues. So Steven Crowder and Amy Schumer actually go way back, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a small world of media. Anyway, Tomi Lahren's career is an interesting case study in how to build a successful career from broadcast journalism. Regardless of how you feel about her political ideology or if you think her message is good or negative, I personally think it's a negative message. I don't agree with anything she says. Nonetheless, the skill at which she has done it and built a career for herself is worth studying. If you want to watch another video, you can click around. As always, I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, it's just news media talk every day. Bye, guys.